Okay, hello everybody. Uh, don't
Hey,
be don't be ridiculous. Episode 25. Jeremy and Clark here with you. It is Sunday about 5:30. So if some blockbuster move happens, don't hate us for not getting it right.
yeah, we're not trying to be breaking news here.
That's right. That's right. So
Go to Twitter.
that's right. That's right. There's plenty of outlets where you can get that. Yeah. So first thing we want to do is review the conference championship games last week. We've got the Bengals and the Rams in the Super Bowl, which should be a pretty exciting game.
Should be a
And
good game. I don't think anyone really expected the Bengals to be there, but um, yeah, like we were saying the whole year, like in the NFC, you could have made a case for Green Bay, Tampa Bay, the Rams, maybe Arizona at one point, maybe Dallas at one point. So it's kind of not surprising. I mean, the Rams that were all in this year to try to get here. So it was kind of weird that San Francisco gets ahead again, and they basically it was at the end of that game was hilarious because we were texting each other and they were both trying to give it away, you know, like Stafford tried to throw a game-ending interception. The guy did well. It wouldn't have been a game-ending interception, but I mean, it would have been a really big interception. The guy dropped it, and then San Francisco, Garoppolo throws one and the guy catches it. So that was pretty much the difference in the game. I mean, the Rams probably should have been ahead, because they'd seemed like they were moving the ball pretty easily, but they couldn't finish drives. So
yeah, so let's do the AFC Championship first. My takeaway from that game is what the hell happened to Kansas City?
well, from what so I mean, there's a lot of ways we could go with this. I was listening to Carson Palmer on the Dan Patrick show, and he was saying that in the first half, it seemed to him like Mahomes was just kind of taking what the defense was giving, you know, and doing a really good job of that. I mean, they scored 21 points. Um, And yeah, in the second half, he was holding on to the ball and he was trying to make stuff happen and he wasn't taking what was there. And also, they weren't running the ball. But I don't think you can necessarily be surprised when a team coached by Andy Reid doesn't run the ball because he doesn't like to run the ball. So that kind of, I think that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, there were several plays where he was just holding on to the ball, running around, moving around. It's like, dude, just run with it or throw the ball, throw it away or throw it to somebody. Like, come on. So it seemed like that pretty much sort of summed it up. I mean, he was doing that. The Bengals made some plays, and then I guess they sort of got after him. They switched to dropping 8 guys into coverage. And I guess Kansas City wasn't ready for that, or they didn't want to just take what the defense was giving them. I don't know. Like, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, the Chiefs got up 21-3, and it looked like okay, this is another Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl again. And then right before halftime, they had the huge blunder where they throw the ball behind the line. There's 5 seconds left, and instead of kicking a field goal, they try to score, but they throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and he gets tackled, and they get no points. And
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a problem with them. And a lot of people were saying, well, you just kicked the field goal with 5 seconds. Well, you can run one play and still be able to kick a field goal. I mean, basically, it's like you snap the ball, you read, and then you either you throw into the end zone to try to one of your receivers, or you throw it out of the back of the end zone. The ball probably would have landed. They would have had a second or two, and they could have kicked a field goal. But there can't be a read. Oh no, and then throw to this guy. Like you can't. I don't know if that was the actual design of the play, but if that was the design of the play, that's terrible. You can't, with 5 seconds, the ball needs to go into the end zone or you need to throw it away like immediately. So, but the thing is, people are saying, oh, that sort of turned things around. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but the Bengals got the ball coming out of halftime and they didn't do anything with it. And so both the teams kind of went back and forth, not doing anything with it at first. So I don't know, how much of an effect that had on it.
yeah, I give some credit to the Bengals defense. They did a nice job in the second half, but the Chiefs literally like it was very strange to watch. Mahomes just hold the ball, and it didn't make any sense to me. I mean, you have to make adjustments in a game, and they needed to run the ball a little bit. And the thing is, they had the lead. It's not as if the game was in danger that they needed to throw the ball, and for some reason it was a really really poor job by the Chiefs, and yeah,
Yeah, I give the Bengals credit, but yeah, I'm more on the side of that was. I mean, it's a combination of the two, but I'm more on the side of the Chiefs kind of blew that game. They should have won that game.
yeah, and you and I have been harping on this all season that there's nothing wrong with 3 points. Take the
Yeah,
field goal, and the Chiefs again passed up on 3 points there at the end of that first half, and they lose the game by three. So I don't know how many times that has to happen this season before.
well, the Bengals kicked 12. We were texting each other after the game. The Bengals kicked like 12 field goals throughout the playoffs, and they're in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
just goes to show don't get too over the top. Don't get too greedy. Just take the 3 points.
and at the end of the game, the end of regulation anyway, when the Chiefs were down near the end zone, and I feel like we've now gotten way too into this. We're turning this into a football or a video game now, where it's just, oh well, you don't want to score too quickly. Well, run the ball here, but oh don't. How about just score the touchdown? Like Kansas City should have scored it. They had first and goal. They should have scored a touchdown where they had three chances to score. They should have gotten one. Instead, they had to kick a really long field goal because of how much of a disaster they were on offense. So
Yeah, well, remember Mahomes. Everyone's going to forget it. Mahomes fumbled at the end. They sacked him and he fumbled, and Cincinnati couldn't recover. If they'd recovered that, they would have won in regulation. So the other thing that was funny is that now it's basically like, I guess overtime is fine now because Cincinnati got the ball after Mahomes threw an interception, so both teams got the ball, so no one's complaining.
right.
which I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean, like I said, I think there's some legitimate criticisms of the overtime, especially in the playoffs. But I don't know. It's just kind of like I think this if the statistics were a little more evened out between who gets the ball first and who doesn't, then I don't think people would have as much of a problem with it. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, Cincinnati made a good. The guy made a great catch to get the interception, but I don't know why he's throwing. I mean, it's third and long, but I don't know why Mahomes is throwing that into double coverage like that. It just seems like Mark Schlereth was talking about this on. He was on a few things, but he was just saying maybe it was football hubris where they were just like, well, we could run the ball or we could take what the defense has given us, but no, we don't want to win that way. It's like, okay. So
Yeah, it is crazy, crazy comeback. I mean, I wrote down in my notes: is Cincinnati a Cinderella? I mean, is this a Cinderella NFL team? I mean, I'm not saying they're not good, but they beat they beat the Raiders, they beat Tennessee, and then they beat the Chiefs.
it's not like they've been like really, really overwhelming against anybody. I mean, every game was close. I mean, every game was one score. I mean, the Raiders had the ball. I mean, they technically, Carr might have been able to throw a touchdown and like tie the game. So that might have gone to overtime. And then Tennessee, it was 3 points. So, and then this one was also 3 points in overtime. So yeah, they haven't like overwhelmed anybody, but they're just kind of, Burrow threw an interception in this game. I'm trying to remember. Did he throw an interception in the Tennessee game? I feel he might have, but yeah, but it's basically like they haven't made really, really huge mistakes. And they're just sort of hanging around. They kick field goals. Their defense starts to make some plays. And Burrow hasn't been unbelievable, but he's just, he makes some play. I mean, he got away from the rush a few times against Kansas City. So, yeah, they're just kind of, I mean, that's why I'm like, I don't know how are they going to do that against Aaron Donald and Von Miller, So,
yeah, so we'll get to that. So the NFC game, it felt like in the first half the Rams were completely outplaying them and they were behind.
yeah.
And then the 49ers, as I've been saying the entire season, can't play 4 good quarters. They have a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter, can't hold it.
Yep.
Can't hold the lead and can't score. And in this game, it's just crazy. I don't know how I think we got to give Kyle Shanahan, and I know people are complaining about his win-loss record, but I think we got to give him some credit. They couldn't run the ball in this game. They got Jimmy Garoppolo, trying to throw the ball to the other team every other play, and they almost go to the Super Bowl. So I don't know how the game. Honestly, the Rams should have won that game easily. They're the better team. They have more talent.
Yeah.
And I got to give Stafford credit. In the Tampa game and in this game, didn't make. I mean, he made the one throw that should have been intercepted. But other than that, he's been really solid.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could kind of argue he probably would have had a better career if he wasn't in Detroit all those years,
Yeah.
or if Detroit had ever gotten, a legit coach. Like he has a legit coach now, and it's like, okay. I mean, he still led the league in interceptions this year, but I mean, I guess we'll get to that later. But you could argue, say if Stafford wins the Super Bowl, or if he wins the Super Bowl and has a few more really good years with the Rams, then you could argue he should be in the Hall of Fame. Even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, like if he has a few more really good years, like you might, people might say, Hall of Famer. So yeah, he's pretty good. He's in a much better situation now. The Rams kind of concern me because like I said, the Bengals aren't overwhelming, but I feel like Stafford could make a huge mistake. I mean, he almost did in the 49ers game. The guy just didn't catch it. So I'm more concerned about that from the Rams than I am from the Bengals, because Burrow throws interceptions every now and then, but he hasn't done anything really backbreaking throughout the playoffs. So.
Yeah, and just before we get to the Super Bowl preview, Sean McVay tried every way he could to blow that game for the Rams. He used up all their timeouts. The two challenges were terrible. They had no chance of getting overturned. It was one of those things where it was just like McVay acted like he was coaching a different game. Like the Rams were playing in this game, but McVay was coaching as if it was a different game, because he's going for it on fourth down in the second half. They don't get it. San Francisco ends up scoring because of it. Like he basically, if they had lost this game, McVay would have taken a lot of shit, because he really self-destructed, in that game. I don't know what was going on. He looked like he was insane on the sideline. So
remember, they were up 27-3 against Tampa Bay, and it all fell apart. They almost blew that. Yeah. So yeah, I think if you're a Rams fan, you have to. That's probably in the back of your mind. Like, are they gonna kind of blow this game? So